Before we get to this episode, I want to ask you a quick question. Are you a woman who's 50 or older? And are you ready for a career or job change? Maybe you're yearning to do more meaningful work that really lights you up. I'm asking because my friends Dana and Wendy of Camp Reinvention have the coolest career program. It's called the Career Change Accelerator Program, and they coach amazing women in a 12-week program to reimagine what their careers might look like and to help them see new possibilities. Their very cool program is kicking off on October 27th, and if you even have an inkling, I might be ready for something new and different, I invite you to check out the details. There's a link in the show notes, and let's get busy and think about new possibilities. What does it actually take to hit the restart button on your big juicy dreams in such a way that you gain momentum and keep that steady state going? Even when facing challenges, how can you develop the ability and mindset to never give up, to keep pressing forward, to call in reinforcements as needed? Today, I want to share with you my 3-part secret sauce for restarting. Welcome to Reinvention Rebels, stories of brave and unapologetic women 50 to 90 years young, who have boldly reimagined life on their own terms to find new purpose and possibilities. I'm your host, Wendy Battles. Ready for a dose of inspiration? Let's get to it. Hey, Reinvention Rebels. I want to start today's episode by sharing a little gratitude. I want to tell you how grateful I am. I am grateful to have the opportunity to celebrate, illuminate, and elevate older women. Have you ever had that feeling of pure joy when you stumble upon what you were meant to do in life? Something that lights you up so bright that people can't help but take notice? That's me right now with the Reinvention Rebels podcast. I feel joy almost beyond words to share with the world the amazing badassery of older women. And when I say world, I mean the world. I don't mean just the US. People are listening from all over, from Argentina, Australia, Bangladesh, Estonia, France, Israel, Japan, Malaysia, Norway, Russia, Spain, and South Africa. And that's just scratching the surface. This is what I know for sure. Older women, we are so dope, so full of wisdom, so many ideas and ways to contribute to this crazy, chaotic, I don't know which end is that world. So much compassion and passion. And when we learn to trust ourselves and tune into our intuition, I believe we set ourselves free. There's no telling what we can do. I say all of that to say thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey of rediscovery and new possibilities. Thank you for listening episode after episode. I'm remembering that if all my guests can reimagine and restart their lives, reinventing themselves in such interesting, inspiring, and awesome ways, I think we all know what that means. We can do it too. All of us, every last one. You just have to decide you want to become a Reinvention Rebel. I know you may not know all the answers about the how yet, but just tuning into the idea that there's something else for you, whether big or small, is where it starts. By deciding you deserve an abundance of happiness, whether you're in your 50s or 90s or somewhere in between, you can start down the reinvention path at any time. I also want to thank you for taking time to rate and review the podcast. I am so appreciative of your time and thoughtful comments. I want to take a moment to share a recent review with you. This review is from Margot Lovett, and she titled it Bad to the Bone on Apple Podcasts. I am 67, reinvented, strong, wise, and loving your podcast. Wendy, you have a true fan. Let me tell you, I felt as though you were celebrating me every show. Thanks a million. Aw, thanks so much, Margot. I'm thrilled that you love the podcast and that it speaks to you so powerfully. If you have similar thoughts to Margot, please don't be shy. If you listen through Apple Podcasts, it's super simple to rate and review in the app. I would love it if you'd leave me a 5-star review and tell me what you love about it. Thanks in advance. You know what else is cool? You can leave a voicemail with comments about the podcast. Simply go to reinventionrebels.com and click on the contact page. At the bottom of the page, just click on the Start Recording button. Easy peasy. Thanks again for your support. Today, I'm excited to share about the third of my 3 R's, my personal recipe for becoming a Reinvention Rebel. As a little refresher, the 3 R's are reflect, reimagine, and restart. You can learn more about reflection in my episode, Self-Reflection and Silence, How I Uncovered My Purpose at 54. It's all about getting quiet and listening. The second R, reimagine. I talked about how I started to reimagine my own life and dream big about my reinvention in the episode titled Ditch the Shoulds, How to Embrace Your Deepest Desires in 2021. Check it out if you haven't had a chance to listen to it. Both will give you a little peek into the actual process I used, the how, to think about my own reinvention. Today, we're focusing on the process of restarting. Those dreams of yours aren't going to materialize by themselves, after all. So the question is, what is it we need to think and do to get on the road to achieving our reimagined life? All 3 steps are important. We have to first tune into the inner wisdom that bubbles up and learn how to awaken to the small but mighty voice that never steers us wrong. And we need to start envisioning what our reinvented life looks like. I'm at the age where I'm thinking, why not? Why should I limit myself? Why not go for whatever it is I want to do and achieve? So I painted a big, juicy picture of my reinvented life. I visualized my ability to share my message of reinvention with women around the world. The thing is, sometimes we do tune in and we do have great ideas, but those ideas don't always come to fruition. I'll tell you that I've had a lot of fits and starts over my 56 years. I've had some big ideas in the past, but some of them never got out of my head. Or I started down a certain path and then I gave up. I remember when I started my voiceover career in the 90s. I was so excited. For years, I heard a regular refrain, Wendy, you have a great voice. I thought, well, how cool is that? I'm going to put this voice to good use. I enthusiastically put myself out there. I made a demo tape. I had some initial success. It seems like it often starts that way for me. I was getting some radio commercials, and then I got a great gig voicing over a CD-ROM for IBM. And yes, I just said CD-ROM. You might be thinking, CD-ROM, like what the heck is that? That's how long ago this actually was. Anyway, I was excited and ready for more. I kind of assumed that those successes would lead to more successes. That's a reasonable assumption, right? The idea that past performance is an indicator of future performance, or so I thought. But then the work dried up. I had to pound the pavement. It got tough. And luckily, I hadn't quit my day job. Eventually, I bought into the notion that becoming a successful voice actor is hard. What's true is that it's not the easiest career. It is competitive, but certainly not impossible. But once I locked onto my, I don't really think I can do this mindset, it was pretty much a lost cause. And that's why restarting, the third R, is so important. We can all have great ideas, big, juicy dreams. But if we don't have a plan to make it happen, chances are it won't. Or that we'll start and stop like I've done so many times before. But what does it actually take to hit the restart button on your big, juicy dreams in such a way that you gain momentum and keep that steady state going? Even when facing challenges, how can you develop the ability and mindset to never give up, to keep pressing forward, to call in reinforcements as needed? Today, I want to share with you my 3-part secret sauce for restarting. Make space, ask for help, and offer yourself grace. Hey, amazing listeners. Want to have Reinvention Rebels inspiration delivered to your inbox? Head over to reinventionrebels.com and sign up for my news and notes. First, and perhaps most importantly, you need to make space in your life for the big, juicy reinvention you're imagining for yourself. Are you anything like me? In the past, I've filled up just about every crevice of my life being busy. I took on too much, and I wasn't good at saying no. That, of course, is before I understood that no is a complete sentence. Because if you really want to birth your dream, whatever it might be, you need to have the room in your life to make it happen. I like to think of this as clearing the decks. And sometimes that means making some tough decisions. If you're already too busy and you want to add something else to your plate, it's likely an untenable situation. Making your dream a reality may mean saying no to certain things, especially if you're super busy like me. I remember hearing a story several years ago about the couple who started Bare Naked Granola. They spent an entire year focused solely on getting it off the ground. They proactively told family and friends that they were on hiatus to focus on their dream and wouldn't be spending time with them. That's making the space for your dream. I'm not suggesting that making space has to look like that. We each have our own unique circumstances, but it's a great example of what's possible if you decide your dream is important enough to you. You figure out a way. Could be that it's simply reprioritizing. Instead of focusing on some other things, maybe you have to determine how much time to spend on your dream versus other things that take up your time. For me, because I was so inspired to start the podcast, I decided I needed dedicated time to work on it. I tried to do it after work, but I would end up being tired and lacking inspiration. So I shifted my focus to get started first thing in the morning before I started my day job. First, I got up at 5:30. Then I decided that wasn't enough time, and I kicked it up a notch by getting up at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday. Simply making this shift and giving myself between 60 to 90 minutes to work on it each morning. That was the key to building momentum and allowing for forward progress. It also meant I needed to let go of some things that were important but less of a priority. I had spent many years on a nonprofit board I loved, but it was time to move on so I could add value in new ways. The key for making space is stepping back and taking an objective look at your life, figuring out what's going to work for you in order to make space for your reinvention. My guess is that there are probably several areas of your life where you can make tweaks to create more space. Don't be afraid to spend some time thinking about it. It may be hit or miss at first. Perhaps you have to try different recipes for your time until you land on what works for you. Whatever you do, just keep at it until you feel you've made sufficient space to focus on your new desires. My second ingredient for restarting, ask for help. I'm a do-it-yourself pro. And no, I don't mean with home improvements, unfortunately. If you saw me trying to fix anything in my house, you'd know that's not my strength. Nope, by do-it-yourself, I mean the take on too much, feel like I have to do all this stuff myself syndrome. Women are notorious for taking on way too much and trying to do it perfectly too. Not to mention, we're usually the primary caregivers, fixers, organizers, keep the household running, doers. You know the drill. It's just what we do. But at what cost? I used to actually think it was a good thing that I was juggling multiple things at once, almost like a badge of honor. That's before I understood that multitasking often means I'm not present, I make mistakes, and I'm not giving all those different things my full attention. It took a while, but along the way, I learned that I can't do it all and that it's okay to ask for help. And ask for help is exactly what I've done when it's come to birthing the podcast. I asked one friend to help me think about my schedule, another to share her feedback about the podcast cover art, another to listen to my favorite options for theme music and weigh in with her top choice. Instead of asking multiple people to weigh in on any one of these aspects, thereby causing more confusion since everybody sees things differently, I went with my gut. I picked someone I really trusted in each area to help me. It simplified things to have one opinion. It enabled me to move forward with greater ease. That's restarting in action, taking small steps toward my dream and goals. How can you apply the idea of asking for help to your own reinvention? Where can you let go of trying to do everything yourself and try on the idea that you can move along further, often more easily, with a little help from your friends, spouse, family, coworkers, whoever the people are in your life that you trust? And asking for help, quite honestly, feels freeing. How many times have you carried around the burden of trying to do everything yourself and driven yourself at least semi-crazy? I certainly have. Being willing to reach out to others conserved my energy, helped me worry less, made me feel lighter mentally. And now that I've gotten some practice doing it, it's becoming much more of a natural default. I love that. My final ingredient in my restart recipe? Offer yourself some grace. No one ever said that reinventing yourself would be easy or take a clear path. In fact, that is often not the case at all. Remember I mentioned the fits and starts? Life gets in the way, or something doesn't pan out exactly as you expect, or you lose some confidence and you're not sure you can do it. Those have all happened to me. I think we can all agree that navigating the pandemic meant that it was a distracting and unsettling time. It took me a few months after so much turmoil simply to refocus and figure out where I left off. The death of a family friend threw me for another loop. It took a lot for me to actually get organized and focused enough to give the podcast launch the time it needed. I bet you know what can happen when obstacles come up. It's easy to get mired in a not so great mindset, to beat ourselves up, to question why we didn't just work harder or longer. That, amazing ones, is why offering ourselves some grace is so important. I think it's an art to learn how to go easy on ourselves, to cut ourselves some slack, to not get caught up in the negative self-talk that can end up being self-defeating. It takes practice. It can feel uncomfortable. But I think most of us can grow from upping our game around forgiving ourselves and appreciating how far we've come instead of focusing on what we haven't done. So what if you're a week or a month behind your goals? If you're moving in the right direction, that is progress. We need to learn how to shift our mindset more readily and appreciate our efforts, each little step at a time. Just like asking for help, the more we learn to offer ourselves grace, the easier it is the next time around. Get into the habit of going easy on yourself, and you can use all the energy you used to expend on being disappointed in yourself for much more useful and awesome purposes. How cool is that? There you have it, my secret sauce for restarting, aka getting into action on your dreams and desires. Make space, ask for help, offer yourself grace. I encourage you to give my secret sauce a test run and see how it resonates in your own life. Does it help you move forward with your own reinvention? Please reach out to me and let me know. And remember, you can even leave me a voicemail. Just pop over to reinventionrebels.com and click on the contact page. At the bottom of the page, just click on the Start Recording button. I hope you found this episode helpful and good food for thought. Reinventing ourselves is an amazing opportunity to love ourselves up, to consciously put our attention on ourselves. Enough of taking care of everybody else. This is solely about how we can shine and show up in whatever way pleases us. Shonda Rhimes wrote about the year of yes. I like to think of this as an opportunity to say yes to ourselves every single day. When you're willing to reinvent yourself, take a chance, uncover your true desires, strike out in a direction and go for it. You are not only charting a new course for yourself, but also lighting the way for others. So keep being bold and brave, Reinvention Rebels. Keep creating opportunities to shine. Thanks again for listening. I am so grateful. Until next time, stay true to yourself and shine your beautiful light. The world needs you and all that you have to offer. Hey, amazing listener. Did you love today's episode? Did you find inspiration you can apply to your own life? I'd love for you to take a moment to rate and review the Reinvention Rebels podcast on your favorite platform. That would be awesome, and I would be so appreciative. Let's help spread the word to more people and get them inspired. Hey, Rebel. If this episode inspired you to think about what's possible in your life, I'll share a little secret. Any of us can reinvent ourselves no matter where we are in our lives, any age, any stage. We just have to decide to get started. Here's a super simple way for you to get going with your reinvention dreams. download my audio, 5 questions to spark your curiosity and inspire your reinvention journey. I share 5 key questions that will spur your thinking, help you uncover your dreams, and motivate you to take action. Because if not now, when? Details in the show notes. Let's get inspired together.